going, Dave here. Just a video to share with you. I wanted to do a follow-up with the Chaga and how I prefer to prepare it. And so I basically, excuse me, I go over, I get 2 liters of water. I use the more traditional preparation method, which is a low heat, 140 degrees Fahrenheit, excuse me, and no higher. And I'll use 2 pieces of roughly 1-inch cubed chaga, and that'll go in, like I say, it's roughly 1 cubic inch per 1 liter of water, and I'll steep it at a low heat for about 6 to 8 hours. And this way it doesn't kill and destroy the enzymes and the proteins and the certain sterols that are basically essential with getting the full medicinal value from the chaga. So in this video I'll have the instructions and go into it as with as much detail as I can. So one of the easiest ways, I don't have a slow cooker here, but a lot of slow cookers out there, the crock pots, they do have a low setting of 140 degrees Fahrenheit, and that is much easier than doing stovetop, especially using a gas range. It's even on the lowest heat setting without it going out, it's difficult to keep it at 140 degrees. It tends to creep up a lot higher than you would like, so it's pretty difficult for me to do that. So if you do have a slow cooker, read in your instruction manual with your slow cooker and see if it is capable at maintaining 140 degrees Fahrenheit, and if so, that's the easiest way to do this with the traditional style that I'm preparing here. And like I say, you can even set the timer and do it while you're gone away at work or out and about throughout the day. So like I say, 6 to 8 hours, 140 degrees Fahrenheit, 1 cubic inch of chaga per 1 liter of water, or 1 quart of water. I'll also share with you how I store it, and I actually use mason jars, and it works out quite well actually, and I'll share with you that as well. As soon as you are finished with it, while it's still warm, nice and warm, I put it in a sterilized mason jar with the seal on it, and once it starts to cool, it actually seals itself. So therefore, it's got a long shelf life. You can stock up. You don't have to refrigerate it. It doesn't take up refrigerator space until after you've opened it. Once it's open, then you can store it in the refrigerator and consume. I recommend anybody with above average abnormalities with pain, fibromyalgia, nerve pain, arthritis, rheumatoid, all that kind of stuff. If you're having more issues and more pain than the average person would, I recommend taking a double dose of this a day. So instead of just having 1 cup of it a day, I recommend 1 in the morning and 1 in the evening. Through personal use myself, that's what I found more effective. And again, your overall well-being and whatnot, it's beneficial, like I say, to help out many issues out there. And so if you've got any questions for me, feel free to leave them in the comment section below on this video. And by no means am I an expert in chaga and preparation and harvesting, but I will do my best to help guide you if you've got any questions or concerns. So anyway, stay tuned. So here's the mason jar that I use. So it's I think it's a 2-quart, I do believe. And once they're done, I wash them out, make sure they're thoroughly dry before you store them, and prior to use I'll sterilize them, extremely hot water, and I'll actually take the lid and the ring here, and I'll have that placed in a boiling pot of water, and as soon as I transfer it over into the mason jar, I'll remove the lid and place it onto the mason jar and set it aside and let it cool, and it will do everything for you with regards to sealing. So anyway, I'll get this in the pot and I'll share with you. And again, it's just as simple as that. You can grind it. I mean, you can grind it up. I mean, make sure that it's thoroughly dry. That's the biggest and most important thing with chaga. It is susceptible to mold and bacteria if it's not completely dry. So, and drying, you don't want to have it in a high heat area. You don't want to microwave it. Even in the oven, it can be generally sometimes too hot. So, but you do want to dry it once you've got it cut up like this into manageable size portions, so that once you do go to use it, it's just remove it from where you've got to store, put it in the pot, and we'll get this on the stove now. Again, it is hard for me to manage the heat with this gas range, so slow cooker is by far much easier, and you can set the timer for, like I say, 8 hours on 140 degrees Fahrenheit. So what I've actually got to do, excuse the mess with the stove, guys, I cooked some pea soup there for supper earlier, so I haven't got a chance to do any of the normal kitchen duties today, but and I do put the lid on. You got to keep the lid on, otherwise it'll evaporate on you. I usually like to poke that down and get it kind of wet on the outside. And I'll share with you here. This is what I use. Check my temperature. I'll do that periodically, usually every half an hour or an hour. I'll make sure that it doesn't go up above 140 degrees Fahrenheit. And like I say, if you're doing it from a stovetop or a range like this, you sometimes may have to turn the heat off. I'll let it cool down a little bit and then reignite once it cools a little bit. But so anyway, this is my preferred method. So I'll put the lid back on now on that pot, and we'll monitor the temperature, and I'll show you the finished product. Okay, as you can see, I've got the mason jar lid in, and it's being sterilized and heated. And that'll allow for the seal on the mason jar. And just to share with you what I use, just fine mesh screen. I'll place this over the mason jar when I pour the chaga tea into the mason jar. So you do have to, they recommend that you do strain it, and so this is what I use. Okay, so I just strain it off into this 2-quart mason jar, and with the lid that was just sterilized and boiled. So it's been on, like I say, hand tight, and as it cools down, that will seal. And like I say, this can be stored for a significant period of time. And I'll share with you that's what it looks like after it's done. Now you can reuse the Chaga. I usually get about three to four times before the color starts getting too light. Again, don't just take it and discard it. It can be reused a few times, and it'll continue to release all the health benefits from the Chaga. So anyway, I hope this video helps. This is my preferred way of Chaga. As always, take care.